Welcome to How to Work a Conference to Make It Work for You. I'm Catherine Fulford from the University of Hawaii, and with me is Adam Tanare Jr., my design assistant. This is a 5-part series, and today we're covering Part 2, Intro to Slideshows. In this piece, we'll cover prepare your presentation, add surprises, presentation content, your insights, trust and believability, and silent messages. Prepare your presentation. A good, well-planned visual presentation is never out of style. Moving from paper to bullet points is the hardest part of the job. So use your word processing program and make a duplicate of your paper. Then go through your paper and erase everything that's not a bullet point. And then you come up with exactly what you need. You can cut that and paste it right into your presentation. So once you have the words down, then you can go back and revise and figure out where everything goes in the presentation. You can repurpose slides that you've used before or that your colleagues have to describe your organization. And in addition, you can repurpose pictures that you have and graphics that you find in other places. Next, you want to create exciting transitions for your slides. A good way to do this is to utilize various animations, find attention grabbers, use graphics, use illustrations, and especially use photos. You can find free copies of these on the web. Next, once you have all the content and all the graphics, is to go through and fine-tune and polish. You want to make sure to check your timing and get feedback from a friend. So ask someone to watch and review for you to see how the presentation goes. Add surprises. Find ways to gain their attention. It also helps to make connections. So if you know people in the audience, make sure to find ways to mention that. One way to do this is to collect data about who is there. My husband suggested once, and it was a great idea, is to have a drawing at the end with a prize. And then ask everybody to hand in a business card in a bag, and then you have a drawing at the end. Also, be sure to bring index cards for people to write names if they don't have a business card. Also, you want to find ways to keep them hanging in there. A friend of mine had a presentation at the very last day, the very last session, and she wasn't sure how in the world she was going to get them to stay. So she put flyers up and told everybody there would be a grand surprise at the end. And sure enough, she got a wonderful audience. We all had a great time and a piece of wonderful pastry from the Austrian bakery nearby. Presentation content. Make sure to speak to your audience. Discuss what's interesting to them. Also set the context and be human. Use interesting, relevant, and appropriate images, or use some videos if possible. You can even find things that are relevant on the web to use. One thing to do is avoid lengthy literature reviews. They're more interested in your work than what's in the literature. So in your presentation, first you'll describe your purpose, then highlight your literature review or conceptual framework, provide your research questions, discuss your data collection, show your instruments or materials, visualize your results with nice charts and graphs, then summarize your key results with bullet points. You can supply the implications and conclusions, and then talk about unanswered questions and ideas for future research. Your insights. Giving advice to others on what you learned is a good way to end the presentation. Talk about what you discovered, what challenges you had, your successes, what you would change, where you want to go next. And make connections. Invite others to come up and talk with you or talk outside after the presentation. Trust and believability. You'll judge me by how I look. You'll judge me by what I say. And you'll judge me by how I sound. A lot of silent messages are communicated by these three things. In a study in 1971, these three aspects were looked at: visual, sound, and words. And interestingly is how they came in. Visual was 55% of trust and believability. Vocal was 38%. And crawling in at last place were the words that you say. This is kind of terrible for a teacher, but it really shows the importance of making sure that you have a good visual presentation, you use your voice well. That way, people will listen to the words that you say. Aloha until next time. Next time will be Guidelines to Visuals 101. We'll cover layout, focus, and dynamics. Aloha and mahalo.